that writing a book and then selling a book, they're two different projects. I don't think I can qualify and say, okay, I'm a writer. I think if you're a writer, there's no way you can be a writer without being super passionate about books.
So how did you manage to find time for your writing, for your content and all of it? How was that journey like? What has been your biggest eye-opener when it comes to trying to figure out what you want to communicate to people?
It's like, how does it feel? Like, it feels like somebody's reading your diary. It's literally like if I'm standing across the table with you and I'm holding your shoulders and shaking my shoulders. Ye padho. So you can feel that in his voice. As marketers, we love to complicate things.
Yeah, we love to.
Because we want to justify our own salaries. So you just use it in a reach. Most misused and
of course
needless word, right? See, this book is written as a doing book, not as a reading book, right? And there's spaces to write your questions. So when you rightly said that whenever we're introducing somebody, we'll say that, hey, I am a senior manager at XYZ Limited. But what do I do?
Show by Nagma. Hi everyone, after a very amazing and successful season 1, we are back with season 2 of the next show by Nagma. And today with me, I have somebody who I've looked up to as a content creator, who I've stolen ideas from, who I've tried getting inspired from in terms of making content or how to look at the camera, how to articulate stuff and a lot of stuff. But yeah, he's not just a content creator, he's also a very well-known marketer, a TEDx speaker, etc., a lot of things. With me today, I have Harinder Singh Pelia. Welcome to the next show.
Thank you so much, Nagma. And
it's a special episode today for us.
Thank you for the lovely and kind introduction. I've been wanting to meet you for the longest time and glad we get to do this.
Yeah, I'm so glad. And I'm so extra happy, I would say, because we've done a very good season 1, did almost 23-24 episodes. Lovely. And then this is a small break. We wanted to take a small break, just make sure our new ambience and everything is set up, and then release the new season with a bang. And I think this is the right place to do it.
Thank you so much for having me. Excited.
So, how is it going on now that your second book is out, and I'm sure you're in your so-called author tours, the book promotion phase, everything is going on. How is it going on?
Thank you so much. The book has got off to a good start. It's very encouraging. I was at the Penguin office yesterday and I saw some numbers. Just the initial buzz is very encouraging. People have been connecting. So over the weekend, I got a lot of WhatsApp messages of people in book clubs and stuff that I'm a part of, that people said that, hey, this seems like somebody I know. This seems like me. So a lot of people have connected with it.
Interesting.
Which is lovely. For the next many weekends, I get to go to different bookstores, meet a lot of people. It's a fantastic privilege that you get to do that. But yeah, it's exciting times. So like I said, I say this very often, that writing a book and then selling a book, they're two different projects.
Oh, totally different.
And oftentimes the second project of selling the book and getting more and more people to discover it, it's about 10 times more difficult. So I'm in the midst of that, but enjoying every moment. I get to speak to people like you, which is always amazing.
Well, this is actually great. I think a lot of authors keep telling that, who enjoys this part of promotions and who understands that promotions are actually important. That's a great experience in its way, because you meet a lot of people, you go to places that otherwise you would not have imagined you go, and at the end of the day, okay, professionally you might be somebody, the biggest of the biggest person in your industry, but you are a writer, means you're also a reader, and books are something very close to you. So something very calming, good, that about going to a bookstore, meeting people, sitting there, talking about books, not just about your book, but a lot of other books as well. I think that's warm and comforting about being in a bookstore, having a coffee, talking to your fellow readers, not just writers and everything. So how is, for you personally, because you're also an avid reader, which is where I was telling in the intro also, I never knew about your marketing background or 10xer club or anything before. I've just saw somebody who's doing book recommendation videos, and I have very few people who I actually save those videos because I like the recommendation and I want to check out those books, and you're one among them. And
thank you so much.
It's literally just 2 or 3 people that I actually do that with.
Thank you so much.
So I've only knew that before. So I've been continuously seeing your content and everything. So that proves that you are an avid reader. Now there's this another avatar of yours, which is a writer.
Yeah.
So how is it different or how is it similar for you?
I think you can't write if you don't read fundamentally. I think it's a necessary but not sufficient condition to be a writer. Um, I don't think I can qualify and say okay, I'm a writer. It's one of the things that I love doing, that I feel very privileged that I get to do. But yeah, like you rightly said, to be able to go to a bookstore. I love to go to bookstores, especially people who are really passionate about books. So I met an old friend who's now working with a publisher. And we were just in a complex. I was like, we want to go to a bookstore together. And sometimes the most amazing conversations happen when two people who are passionate about books go to a bookstore together.
Oh my God,
and then you get coffee, and then you talk about, hey, this book really gutted me, and this, and what I love doing is whenever I'll go with a friend, we'll try and buy each other 3 books each, which we won't ask the other person. So it's like,
I hope my friends are listening to this.
So or we should do this like at a bookstore, that I'm going to pick out 3 which I think you'll like, and you pick out 3 which I like, and it's always fun. It brings that element of romance and intimacy into a bookstore. And sometimes you get to introduce your friends to such new books, and that's great. So I think if you're a writer, there's no way you can be a writer without being super passionate about books. I think that's at the center of it. And I really am very passionate about books, but also making sure people read more. So I was at my sister-in-law's house, and her daughter is 11, and she's a sweetheart. So very passionate about her getting to read more, and she's in the middle of reading Harry Potter for the first time. And so those are things which I'm very excited about. Spoke to her about Percy Jackson and Demon Slayer and manga and stuff. So I was like, it just lights me up to just see people taking up reading for the first time, or taking up reading after a break. I love that I get to do this.
Oh, that's so cool. I mean, for readers, I think these are very important. Like, I have my own nephews who are 9 now. I've tried my best to get them into reading from the age of 3, 4 with bedtime stories and things like that. And they even complain, you should buy us books, or we'll take your books only if you bring us toys along with it. So they know I'll get them books, but then they started putting conditions. And when they, at once in a while, when they demand to me that, okay, next time you're coming in, we want this particular book. Oh, it's such a happy moment for me. I'm like, oh, the kids are asking me for books. And they are in their Harry Potter phase right now. That's amazing. So you've been busy from your career-wise also. You've been leading amazing roles in companies like Amazon and all the big names that you can think of. And then you started your own firm. It's a very busy life, corporate-wise. So how did you manage to find time for your writing, for your content and all of it? How was that journey like?
Yeah, I'm just like most people, just driven by curiosities, right? So I've had a long corporate career, like a very conventional career. Got to work on some good brands. I really enjoyed it. But I think at the very fundamental center of it is just like, if you're driven by your curiosity to read or write or do different roles in life, I think that's what gives you energy for everything. And I continuously think that I'm not doing enough in any of these things. But very, like I said, very privileged that I get to do this.
Yeah, that's amazing. What has been your biggest eye-opener when it comes to trying to figure out what you want to communicate to people?
Yeah, I think all creative pursuits, they start with an element of introspection. Like at some point you need to just go inwards and think, here, what do I want to do next? Why am I doing what I'm doing? And why am I being drawn to a certain thing? Whether it's any kind of creation, right? If it's content creation, or if it's doodling in your notebook, everything has a certain pull towards it. So I think that inflection point, that trigger, that stimuli is always some kind of voice from within which just says, okay, why don't you get back to scribbling again? Why don't you get back to art? Or why don't you get back to running, or whatever that pursuit is? So I think that's the inflection point. And it was very similar for me. That's like, okay, what do I want to do? What am I very passionate about? It's like, okay, I'm passionate about building things. I'm passionate about bringing people together. I'm also passionate about making sure people discover things that they really love. And I think Instagram is a part of that journey, where you get to recommend, and then people come back and they'll DM you the most beautiful things that, hey, I think I really need this book, and where I am in my life. And I think that lights you up.
That totally lights you up. Some
And
person who you have no idea who this person is just comes and gives you that very genuine thing. Oh, this was exactly what I was looking for.
yeah,
Oh,
and,
that just makes your day.
and it just it's such great value that
Yeah.
you're kind of creating for
Yeah.
everybody, right? Number one, encouraging, creating that kind of
Yeah.
soft FOMO in which they're encouraged to read slightly more,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is great, and sometimes even more so when they are reading your book.
Yeah.
So this weekend a lot of people received the book
Yeah.
and they started reading it because the books just come out.
Yeah.
Somebody asked me, is like, how does it feel? I was like, it feels like somebody's reading your diary.
Oh.
So I was like, this weekend, thousands of people are going to read my
Yeah.
diary. So I'm
Yeah.
feeling I was feeling
Yeah.
incredibly nervous.
Yeah.
But yeah, to like tie it back to the question, I think every creative pursuit, whether it is reading, writing, recommending, it just starts with a fundamental curiosity and introspective space of, okay, what's the value I want to bring to the world?
It's like the big magic talked
Absolutely.
about by Elizabeth Gilbert. Oh my God, that's interesting. I mean, this part where you are talking about how people connect with what you are trying to say, sometimes it really happens. And I think recently it was for, I think, LinkedIn or somewhere, I was promoting your event, the bookstore signings, and somebody reached out and told me, oh, I've signed it up. And I asked that person, okay, how did you get to know about the event? And the person literally told me, no, I saw it on LinkedIn. I'm like, oh, great. Then I was just introducing, no, Nakma, I've been seeing your content. I'm like, that's really helped me out with picking books. I'm like, okay.
Lovely.
Now that is something, because initially, I think even we as people or creators or however you call it, we were looking at comments for about the quality. Oh, you spoke well. Oh, the video was done well. Oh, nice editing. So we were craving for those. But after a while, we figured things doesn't matter. It's about, is a person able to resonate with what you're trying to say? So we no more care about the content quality. I mean, obviously we're maintaining some standards, but we are not craving for those comments anymore. We are literally seeing if am I able to make a change to somebody, or am I able to add value for somebody in some ways. For you personally, what could be, or what is the biggest kind of an affirmation, a comment, an inspiration that you received from somebody through your work? It could be with your startup, it could be with your content, the book. What is it?
I think top of mind regarding the book, a lot of people. And I've started taking screenshots, right? And I really talk about that in the book also. That whenever somebody gives you a compliment, please take a screenshot, keep it away in a folder to read on a bad day. So I do that a lot myself. So for the book, a day before, I got just the most lovely message, and I want to share this on social media. I'll put up a screenshot somewhere. Somebody said that. I went into the book very skeptic. Okay, this is not the kind of stuff that I usually read. But it fundamentally felt like I am this person. That I am the person being talked about. And the last line was, this is what I needed at this point in my life. And he said that I don't know if you'll read this message or reply to it. Something like that. He just said, but in the next 60 days, I'm going to message you again on what all I've done to change and everything.
That's so nice.
And it just felt really good. I just felt amazing. He's like, I'm going to do it. And I don't care about if you're going to read the message or not. So I sent him a long message. I shared my own details with him that, hey, just let's get connected on WhatsApp. I want to be a part of your journey of whatever you're trying to change.
Cool.
So things like that, I think they just really make you feel maybe you're a tiny, minuscule part of somebody's journey. And that's always very, there's a bit of romance, and there's a bit of love in that, and which I really love and enjoy.
Oh, that's amazing. I think even I had that feeling when I picked up the book. Had I not been following your content, or had the connection that whosoever reference came for us, I may or may not have picked the book at that moment. I mean, when I read is because we got connected. And when I started, I had it in my mind, okay, this is another self-help book. It is going to give me a lot of gain. So that's already there in your mind. I mean, it's got to be there. But once I started reading the book, like how exactly this person mentioned, there were so many different parts in the book which felt like, oh God, this part, this is written for me. Like, I don't care if it works for others or not, but this is exactly me. And I've told you also, there were few things, especially in my content creation, few things that you mentioned in the book, I started scripting the content accordingly.
Mm.
So there was a pyramid that you mentioned with 4 stages to it. I literally started writing down, okay, these are the 4 stages. This is how, okay, my hook man, let me add this. In this part, let me create this. I literally did that. And when I watched my own reel after that, which I obviously keep doing, I was like, okay, this content is better. And like, it actually added value, and you
Thank you
wouldn't
so much.
believe it.
Yeah.
Yesterday, in one of the multiple book club groups that I'm part of, my own other book clubs, which I'm just there because it's interesting what's going on, what people are talking about. I found myself defending your book in one of the groups. Because there was somebody asking, this is another normal book. There are a lot of books with that kind of covers and names and everything. But isn't this just going to be another a book filled with gyan? I literally found myself responding in that group letter by letter, how
Yeah.
it helped
Thank
me,
you so
what
much.
I felt about it. And I was surprised.
Yeah.
I am generally somebody who don't interact much in groups,
Hmm.
and I actually felt myself doing that. So I think
Thank you
for
so
whoever
much.
picked up, I think there will be places that they connect with, and that's hats off to you
Thank you
in
so much.
your journey. How has, for example, right now, your content, your book is helping us?
Yes.
What has been helping you?
Oh, everything. I consume a lot of content on Instagram, right? I wish I would have been doing less content on Instagram, but yeah, lovely, just lovely folks in every sphere that I love to talk about. In general, even if it's books or reading, I think a lot of folks are doing amazing. I used to not read a lot of fiction. Of course, when you're a professional, you force yourself to read non-fiction a lot, right? And you miss out on a lot of fiction. But I've discovered just some gems on the basis of this. Especially later part of the year, I started reading a lot of fantasy and sci-fi. I was like, this is like really
lovely.
I like this is really enjoyable stuff that I
Yeah.
was missing for so many years.
Yeah.
So some lovely creators out there who are just talking about these unknown authors and these unknown series which need so much love. So just because somebody is doing that, you're able to discover those stories, and inadvertently those stories become a part of you. So I keep a curation of people that I want to follow who are genuine and who do what they do for the love of it. See, there are a lot of people who do it as a vocation, as a second job and everything, and that's perfect and respectable. But for some folks who just do it because they feel it in them that, hey, this is an author whose voice I need to amplify somehow. That content you can figure out separately.
Oh, yeah, totally. That is true. That is
you
true.
can figure out. Like, for example, there's this fantasy bookstagrammer, and his handle is called CMAS, something like that. I'll send you the link. So he's a 10-15,000 followers, not very big, not very small. Sometimes for some series, he's just so passionate that he'll just say, okay, I want you to read the Sanita series or Blood Swan Saga or one of these popular ones. It's literally like if I'm standing across the table with you and I'm holding your shoulders and shaking my shoulders, ki ye padho. So you can feel that in his voice. So when you feel that in somebody's voice, you know that they just do this out of love and
pure passion, because you literally want people to pick it up.
Absolutely, they want a bigger community to understand their references and inside jokes and everything else. So I think with people who do that, you really get inspired. You really feel this is fantastic. And,
very true.
And I'll be slightly critical. Not many people in the Indian books and reading space are able to achieve that. There's some people with fantastic voices, and you know who those people are. But only if you have a genuine, like, will you pull a friend aside and say, I'm going to buy you this book because I want you to get into this series.
Oh,
so the first I'm going to gift you.
God.
Right? So for people like that, I think even their content has that feeling of passion. And those people really inspire me.
No, this is actually true. There are times when, and what you said is also correct. Today, the so-called Instagram and Bookstagram community is so huge, but it's very difficult to pick the right people out of it who you know is going to do a genuine job. And it also comes back to, like, the same example you're talking right now. There are certain books while you are reading, it just reminds you of somebody.
Yes.
And you know this person needs to read that book. Doesn't matter
Absolutely.
that's a reader, non-reader.
Absolutely.
And there are times even I do that. I just ordered on Amazon to that person. I'm like, dude, I've sent you a book.
Hmm.
You need to read this.
Hmm.
And these are people who trust me when I tell them that, okay, you need to read this.
Hmm.
Like, they know that there could be something that they will learn or appreciate or anything like that is why. And they read it, thankfully. But then this is so true. So in this mixed area of people doing things for commercially,
Yes.
people doing things for, I think, out of their passion, pure love for book. How is it that, like, when you're also now marketing your book and you
Yes.
are a marketing expert, how do you pick up the right from the wrong? I'm just asking this because there could be a lot of authors, new
Yes.
authors who are completely unaware of this entire world that's out there, or who are not even sure how to market, or not even sure that they didn't even know that they have to market the book. This could be
Absolutely.
people who just thought, oh, I've written, I've done my job. So when this is so confusing, so you're so active is maybe why you're able to pick it out. Like, even I can very immediately figure out, okay, this is a genuine content creator or not. But how do you manage and pick it out, and what could be something that you can help out with few people who are trying to come up into the space and struggling right now?
You see, I think I think when you said marketing expert, that's very generous. Thank you so much. Like, I won't say I'm an expert. I've had a little bit of experience in marketing. I think sometimes we just overcomplicate everything. Yeah. As marketers, we love to complicate
Oh
things.
yeah, we love to.
Because we want to justify our own salaries or the money we make, right?
True.
Like, usko justify karne, we're like, hey, this is to a very difficult thing that you won't be able to. These are simple things, yeah. Anybody can do, right? From a marketing perspective. So I'm just saying, I'll talk about the reader part and then the author part separately. I'll talk about authors first. I think every author now realizes that you can't be a sustainable author without having a good sense of how to put your book in front of people who need to read it.
Yeah.
And the first and only thing that's important is the first lesson in marketing that anybody learns is that you first need to have a great idea who the book is for.
Yeah.
It can't be that, hey, I'm going to engage with 10 bookstagrammers and so ये जो चीज़ होती है ना, reach, most misused and
Of course.
needless word,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
If it's 20 people inside a coffee shop which are more relevant than 20,000 people on a bookstagrammer's views, those 20 people are important.
It's important, yeah.
So,
because they will communicate it to one person at a
Absolutely.
time and create it a 50,000 bigger number.
Exactly. So I think that's what. So most people think about reach maximization as an objective. It's not going to work. Yeah. It's not going to work. It's like if I am not in the market to buy a car today, मेरे को दिखाते रहो ad. Like, you can keep showing me all the ads possible in outdoor, on digital, and on newspapers and everything else. You need to have a very good sense, who's in the market for this, right? For example, the book that I have written, if there are 100 readers in the market, this book is only for 40 readers. For 60 readers, it's not relevant. So it's my responsibility to have a very good sense on who those 40 are, where to find them,
True.
and then how to speak to them. If I say कि नहीं यार सबको दे देते हैं, 100 में से कुछ तो reach आएगा, recipe for disaster. I think that's what the author needs to understand. And the second thing author needs to understand is just being a creative misunderstood genius and saying कि यार marketing मेरे से नहीं होता is again a recipe for failure. It's your job. मतलब it's not an optional thing. You can get help from experts, which you should if you were not able to do it. But just saying कि this is not something I want to do or like doing, नहीं होगा. Even the biggest writers there are internationally, they will sit and sign 10,000 books. They will go to the smallest event and for example, like I took Fantasy's example, Brandon Sanderson makes,
he still does signings.
He does signings. He makes 3 pieces of content a day, and this man is writing 4 books a year. So if and obviously he's made millions, but if somebody like that can find out time to create content, meet fans, do events, do podcasts and interviews and everything else. So as a new and young author, like for example myself, young नहीं बोलूँगा, new बोलूँगा. So as a
young
new
in
author,
the industry,
young in the industry, it's like if I'm starting from scratch as a writer, I have no excuse. I will go and do everything, right? If Brandon Sanderson can do it, and if Elif Shafak can turn up for every event possible, and she does so many, right? And I'm in admiration of her. So I have no excuse to not turn up everywhere. So I think that's the author part.
Yeah.
I think the second is the for book creators. Like I'm first of all, I give you a disclaimer. I am nobody to give
advice.
any advice. Right? I'm unqualified. Right? I'm just somebody who loves talking about stuff I read and
Yeah.
stuff which might. So I have no clue of how this works. Right? But what I see, right, at least like an outsider and like just sometimes looking in, there's so much sameness.
Yeah.
Right? It's like there's 40 people talking about the same title at the same time, which is not great.
Yeah.
They're talking very similar things.
Okay.
And the other thing is sometimes what happens is what I don't really enjoy is if I can pick out 40 people who are doing book related or reading related content, each of them needs to have a certain voice.
Okay.
If I want this kind of stuff, I will go to her. If I want that kind of stuff, I will go to him.
True.
And वो एक I think define नहीं हो पा रहा with a lot of people. And I think like for example, I took Seema as his example. I know if I want fantasy and sci-fi references, he does nothing else. So he's like, I'm like, he will be passionate about it. Like that comes across.
Yeah.
So if you are everything for everybody, you will fail.
Wow.
If you're something very valuable for somebody. So I think this is what is happening, like with all authors and even bookstagrammers and other people in the space, that if you're trying to maximize following or reach, it's a recipe for failure. Because that will never come.
You cannot keep focusing on that growth in terms of views and followers. At the end of the day, I also personally feel if you are able to concentrate more on your content, bettering how you push this across, how are you able to communicate better with people?
100%.
Are you able to even communicate what you're trying to say to the other person? Because sometimes there are times when you make an entire reel, later you're realizing that this reel did not technically have a content. Okay, there's a book that being talked about, but nothing specific, sellable in the wrong term, but sellable about the book is not communicated at all. At the end of the day, it did not help anybody.
Right. If it doesn't help anybody, then nobody is having fun. That's the thing. If everybody's if there's just sameness, I think people don't want to see sameness. People just want to see. People want to see unique voices and voices which say that, hey, I didn't like this, man. It's like I don't like Thai food. But I love Malaysian food. Right? You need to have a strong opinion. Otherwise, अगर आप वही चीज बोल रहे हो जो 10 और लोग बोल रहे हैं, तो I don't know how it's going to like it's and particularly the entire point of chasing reach, vanity, followers, and everything. I think it's chasing butterflies.
And not sustainable also.
It's a proverb, right? It's some proverb that instead of chasing a butterfly, you just create a garden and then the butterflies will come. So if you just figure out very clinically, like who the F you are, and then figure out, okay, this is who I am for, this is who I'm definitely not for. And the second part of the question is actually more important. Okay, I never want these kind of people to come and consume my content.
Amazing.
That's very important. Because you know कि यार ये तो नहीं है. But for this set of people, I'm going to be the best there is. And I'm going to do it out of a place of love and authenticity. Then the numbers start ringing for them. So then I've seen this in all the best creators who are there, right? Like whether it's Mr. Beast, gaming streamers. I love Samay Raina, right? Like as a person, I know he's very controversial, but everything. But I love because he's very clear that I am for these people. But then so many more people will hate what I do. But I don't care. Well, it's like I'll go really deep into this cohort and make sure that my engagement with them keeps getting richer and richer and richer. And he's not saying that millions of people need to see what I do, but millions of people end up seeing what he does. Because he's taken aside. He's like, okay, this is me. And like I'm just saying, 40 different bookstagrammers doing the same thing. But Samay Raina is exactly not like any of the other 40 comics out there, right? He's very different. And that's why I think that differentiation needs to come across. If you're an author,
really
book creator, or anything, the issue is that most of us are in that space that if it's a new book launch, then like 40 people want to talk about the same book. I understand there's a commercial need for it, right? which needs to be respected.
Yeah.
But maybe that's 20-30% of your content, which will
Yeah.
keep the lights on.
True.
The other part of your content
Yeah.
needs to take sides,
Yeah.
which means you need to piss off some people
Yeah.
to be loved by the
True.
other,
True.
to be loved by the other X
Who
100
genuinely
minus X%.
matters.
Who matter for you,
Yeah,
right? And that could
exactly.
be different. Like the people who matter to me might be irrelevant for you, or
Yeah.
vice versa.
Yeah.
But having a good sense,
Yeah.
and that's why the book is called what it's called, right? It's not called
True.
who the fuck are you just to titillate.
Yeah.
It's like you need to have a clinical sense on who I am and who I am for.
Yeah.
That's the first step
True.
of any creative pursuit.
And that's a good food for thought. At the same time, I think I so much resonate with what you're telling, because like same thing when you're telling, there's content creators everywhere. But personally, for me, ultimately, I think it boils down to, can I trust this creator? You somehow, while consuming, or you don't know this person.
Yeah.
You have no idea who this person is, and you don't even know what is the personal life of this person.
Yeah.
There could always be that what is on social media is not the real side of it. But then ultimately, where you connect, or where you think like, okay, now I'm going to be there on consuming this person's content forever, there's a trust that you're building.
Absolutely.
And this doesn't happen with everybody. There
Yes.
could be 50 other people talking about that same issue, same book, same movie, same whatever. But then one person you build your trust with, I think you're going to stay with there. So it's from the consumer side, but
Yes.
from a builder side also, I think for that person, this consumer who's built that trust matters more than 1,000 other people who tomorrow something else comes on will move on.
Absolutely. Yes.
That's actually very valuable. And I think we hope we have the strength to stick to that, because it's very difficult also. In this so commercial, fast-paced world, you intentionally want to stick with your niche, but sometimes what's hitting you from 100 sides,
Absolutely.
it's difficult to stick there. You're like, oh my God, what happens to them then? Oh my God, I'll piss off these people. How will I survive then? I think that's also a lot of insecurity
Completely
that
understandable,
we feel
right?
as well.
Everybody has to keep the lights on, right?
Yeah.
And I feel everybody has to commercialize and everything. And there's absolutely no shame in that, right? But the thing is, have a ratio. That's why self-introspection is really required, right? Like knowing who you are, knowing who you're for, knowing why should they come to you. Maybe even if it's 50-50, that I'll do one for them, one for me. But if you lose sight of that, if you've not defined that on pen and paper, that this is the ratio, 70% of my content is going to be stuff which I genuinely love, and 30% is stuff which is going to be for friends or for partners or for so on and so forth, right? That's fine. But going with the flow and feeling without a strategy behind it, वो 30-70 हो जाएगा, वो 70-30 हो जाएगा, and then you'll see कि okay, maybe something is not working. That's what's not working.
True. So coming back to the book, sticking on to these topics itself, there are multiple frameworks that you have given in the book, multiple activities you wanted people to do, and you can literally see my amount of annotations that I've done, and I'm literally done a lot of things. One thing that I felt a lot helpful for me was, I talked to you about the creative canvas and things like that, but there was that simple part where you told about the introduction, where you're introducing somebody, talking about who you are, what you do, because we generally have this habit of the moment you're asking, meeting a new person, okay, you ask for the name, next thing you ask is, what do you do? I don't know why we need that information. And I recently, I think, was listening to a podcast between Simon Sinek and Jay Shetty. Simon Sinek brought these up. We normally ask people, okay, who are you? What is your name? And what do you do? And somehow that's the icebreaker. The moment, and it's also the part that if I start selling, oh, I'm working in this company, this is what I do, I don't even know if you want to know that, or does it even matter to you? So he started talking about, instead of telling your introduction as what do you do in terms of your company or anything, he started twisting it in a way where he's talking about, I believe this is what I want. Example, instead of telling that I'm a teacher or I'm a book promoter, I can start with rather telling that I believe in, or I'm working towards making more people fall in love with books.
Absolutely.
If you resonate with that feeling or that belief, then we may connect. Otherwise, we immediately know, okay, this is not a relationship that you want. So you, in the book, we're talking about how to reframe your introductions,
Yes.
your bio statements,
Yes.
things like that, which was very helpful for me. And I literally started trying to do, okay, how do I want to make that 10 words, 12 words introduction of mine when I go to a new place and introduce, I can do a better job.
Yes.
What for you
Hmm.
is a favorite piece, or what you think could be the best piece out of multiple things that you've told in the book that people should definitely, no matter what, pick up?
Thanks. Thanks for that question. I think, see, this book is written as a doing book, not as a reading book, right? And there's spaces to write your questions. The one which you brought up specifically, I think it's very important to have a one-line understanding of that I help X do Y through Z, right? That's one of the things that I suggest here. That I am for these people. This is the problem that they have, and this is why I can solve it better than the other person, right? So if I'm a freelance designer who works really fast, so rather than breaking your heads and creating something bad on Canva, I can help you do it really, really quick so that it resonates,
That's
right?
a
Or whatever,
USP,
stuff like that. Or I'm an SEO consultant who works on organic traffic and so on and so forth. But just writing that down sometimes is very good. But the issue is, so when you rightly said that whenever we're introducing somebody, we'll say that, hey, I am a senior manager at XYZ Limited. Great, it's great to know your designation.
Great achievement.
like I love to hear all of that. But what do I do with that, right?
Exactly.
But if you say that, hey, I can help you rank on the first page of Google without having to spend a lot on ads because I'm an SEO expert and I've helped a lot of startups kind of do that without investing a lot of money. Then I know that, okay, I'm interested in that conversation. Okay, I'll lean in closer and I'll ask you, okay, how do you do this? How can we work together? But if you say I'm a senior SEO manager at XYZ Limited, it's like you said, it's an achievement and I love to hear it, but you're wasting that opportunity with that person, right? When you're introducing yourself for the first time. So like that, there are a lot of small things that I have learned and thought about, which I've tried to put inside the book, right? One thing which I really love is something which a researcher had done. It's called turning points analysis. Is you to figure out who you are, right? You figure out the best high points of your life and the best low points of your life, and then during those high points, what part of you was engaged? What skills did you use to create that high point? Or at the low point, what happened, right? So when you do an inventory of all of those things and deeply understand, right? Okay, that maybe I won new business with this client, or I was laid off and that was a low point for me. So when you do a repository and analysis of all of those instances, it reveals very deeply of who you actually are. And that's the first part of the book, that you need to know all of those things, right? You need to use those frameworks. Okay, at this point, or for example, we all keep talking about the flow state and everything. It's a very Sigma grind set kind of
and highly misused also.
Highly misused, right? But like I reintroduced the concept of the flow state and what was the research behind it. And when you do the research, you figure out when was the last time that you were doing something and you forgot to have lunch? What were you doing? Why did it make you forget to have lunch? And because it's the things which inspire flow are the things which are closest to what you think you should do, which give you energy, which give you scale. So sometimes doing some of those exercises which I put in the book, I think those will bring you closer to the answer of who you are and what you're great at and what value you bring to the world. So that's why I've left enough space. So anybody who picks it up, I just said, make sure you have pencils. You've annotated it a lot. I love seeing that. But I was like, otherwise you just read 4 hours and keep it back on the shelf. And like, it's not supposed to be that. Because if you spend 300-400 rupees on this, it's less than the price of a burger. But what is important is the 3-4 hours that you spend on it. That's the contract between you and me. That as a reader, you're giving 3-4 hours of your life. So as an author, the pressure is on me. I need to ensure it's the best 3 hours that you've had in a long time. And they're actually valuable hours. That they are hours where you feel, okay, I thought about something. Okay, this person triggered me towards a thought stream. And that has hopefully inspired me to make some action in my life.
Yeah.
I think that's great self-improvement.
Yeah.
Gyan is not self-improvement.
I
Who
completely
am I to give
agree.
gyan,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
gyan books, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, but books which can trigger a thought in you,
Mm.
trigger introspection in you. The
Mm.
answer is inside,
Yeah.
right? Ki what I need to do differently.
Yeah.
Somebody just needs to ask you the right questions.
Yeah.
The book only asks you
Yeah.
questions. Ki, okay, what is important to you? Why is it important, and
Yeah.
everything,
Yeah.
which will help you arrive at an answer.
Answer by
And that's why
yourself.
all of those frameworks are important.
True.
Because they help you just structure your thinking.
Yeah.
Ki you already have everything. You just want to put it on paper.
Yeah.
And that's why about 30-40% of the book is just you writing,
Yeah.
which is how I like to keep it.
True. Whatever you are telling right now is exactly the points I used to defend you and your book yesterday in the group.
Thank you
Because,
so
I mean,
much.
honestly, I'm not trying to flatter you. A few things I really liked about the book was that it did not felt like you're giving gyan.
Yeah.
It was vulnerable in a way where committing to the places where you know how much you are telling, how much you need to advise, but more than advise, like you said, you are asking the right questions. And I felt happy because I think, I don't know if you've thought about it as a psychology also, is I knew I brought out the answer. You did not
Exactly.
tell me to do it.
Yeah.
I figured I wanted to try. So when
Yeah.
I build in my content, when I change the flow of how I build my that 45-second script for the next reel, when I changed it, I was happy because I changed it.
Yeah.
I did not get a trick from you or a template
toolkit.
from you and I did not recreate it.
Like, who
You
am I to
gave
give
me
you?
questions, I worked on it, and I made my content.
Yeah.
So because of which I think it's going to stay. Had you directly given me an advice, I would have been like, okay, great, let me try. I might try it once and I think it's forgotten.
Yeah.
Here, I figured it out, I worked on it, I made it, and the book is full like that. Every single framework, every activity that you've given, personally, it resonated a lot only because you made me do it. I take the accountability here.
Yeah.
You just supported with the right kind of questions and right kind of push here and there. And I love that thing about the book. So that is, I think, really an amazing thing.
Yeah, when you say anti-gyan, it's not only a stylistic or tonal choice.
Yeah.
Right? It's not that I am speaking in a certain way.
Yeah.
See, the book, if somebody's read it, and then they have a certain view on it, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
But to have a view is genuinely, literally judging a book by its cover.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but I just say, so it's like, I am not qualified to tell you what to do in any ways, right? In any walk of life. And I'm very aware about that. But what I can do is I can just hit the right points, right? I can poke you here, I can nudge you there, I can encourage you here, because all of us have just all the answers inside. And some people get those answers out after smoking up. Some people will go to the mountains. Some people will meditate, do vipassana for 10 days, and or some people will do a bunch of other things, right? The answer is inside, but you just need to nudge it out and then write it on paper. That okay, now that I've figured this out, this is who I am. This is what I want to do in the next 12 months. I think that exercise is important. Because sometimes in the hustle of every day, we lose sight of those strategic questions.
Yeah, no, true. I think that's very true.
That's why it has to come out. Like, if I ask anybody, how honestly do we answer the question who we are?
Yeah.
We don't. No?
We don't.
We don't spend time in asking questions. Here, who am I and what value do I bring to the world?
And we also tend to change it according to who's asking.
Exactly. Like we keep changing it, but it does. You don't need to give that answer to anybody, but you should have that answer.
True.
Maybe written in a notes app in your phone. But it needs to, you need to know, okay, this is who I am, this is what I want to be, and this is who I currently can help. That's why the title is what it is, right? It's because you are not senior manager at XYZ Limited only.
That's not your identity.
That's not your identity. Your identity is so much deeper. It's okay to not share it with anybody. But it's not okay to not be clear about it.
Recently, I think for one event, I was talking about, so there was this event called 888, 8 speakers, 8 minutes, 8 books. So you're talking about the book that you love. And I was talking about Frederick Backman, My Friends.
Lovely book.
So introduction is going on. So the host introduced me. Shivani was the host.
Nice.
And then I went on stage and I'm starting to talk. So when I started, I gave my intro as, okay, I'm Nagma. And my identity is that I'm a reader. I think that's all you need to know. after I came out, I'm thinking, oh yeah, I gave a good intro.
No, that's a good
Because
intro.
everybody sitting there are readers. I don't think for them nothing else matters. Am I a reader or not? At that scenario is the only thing that matters to these people.
Yeah.
They don't care if I'm coming from Kerala. They don't care about my age. They don't care where in Delhi I'm living or where I'm from. But actually, after
irrelevant.
it came out, I was like, oh God, I gave a good intro. Like I'm like self-appreciating myself. But then yeah, I completely understand the part that
So
you
you
are.
knew how to do that, right? Because it's like in the book we introduced the concept of a minimum viable
Yeah,
self, right?
yeah,
Which means for that audience, what's
Yeah.
the part of you that's important?
yeah,
See,
exactly.
because all of us have multiple identities. The way I am with my mom is very different from the way I am at work.
Yeah,
And even at work,
yeah,
the way you are with your colleagues or
Yeah.
batchmates
yeah,
is very different from how you are with your boss.
Yeah.
Is very different
True.
from how you are
true,
with the security uncle,
true.
right?
Yeah.
So even at work, you'll have three identities.
true.
So why not? So to have a very clinical sense that okay, when I was introducing myself to a group
Yeah.
of readers, the only thing they wanted to know about, and which would
Yeah.
have mattered,
Yeah.
is that hey, my name is Nagma. I read 100 books a year,
Yeah.
and most of them are literary or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, now I know who this person is, what they like.
Now you want to connect.
Now I can hear
Yeah.
what she has to say.
Exactly.
But if it was Nagma that I hail from Kerala and I love Thai food, it's like great, but मैं क्या करूँ?
But what do I do with that info?
What do I do with that info, right? Like that I love cats and I have 2 kids. And it's like fantastic, but it's
Right.
not relevant.
Yeah.
That's
exactly.
why the word minimum viable self is not a framework कि कुछ
Yeah.
ऐसे बोल दिए. It's like
Yeah.
what is the minimum information you need to give?
Yeah.
Viable, which is relevant to them.
Yeah.
And self is what part of you?
Yeah.
And that's what you did
Yeah.
even before truly understanding and implementing.
Yeah.
But the fact that you felt that this was a great intro is because of that relevance.
Exactly. So this actually came in after I read your book, but this was not planned.
Yes.
And it is after the podcast that I was talking about of Simon Sinek. I was listening to it last week.
Yes.
So certain few things which then it just magically matched up. Synced
Absolutely.
at some point. I'm like, oh, I was actually doing something right. And I'm so
Yeah.
proud of myself when I realized that okay, this is what few people are telling is working, and I felt it worked. I had people coming back to me later and telling how they connected with the content or
Lovely.
they connected with what I said. And I'm like, okay, this is actually working.
Yes.
And I also agree to the part that it's also there is an evolution. I
Yes.
don't have to stick to this identity
Absolutely.
forever.
Yeah.
If I change, my identity change, and it's okay to do that.
Yes.
That's
And you can have multiple, right?
exactly.
Like I'm a founder and I run a startup and
Yeah.
I'm a very different person at home.
Yeah.
I love to connect people to books.
Yeah.
For Penguin, I'm an author who does
Yeah.
a few things and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah.
And there's multiplicity. There's the fact of being multi-hyphenated. And that's important,
Yeah.
right? To recognize. Here, when somebody asks who the fuck you are, is like, मैं एक चीज नहीं हूँ यार. I'm
Yeah.
different things to different
True.
people.
True.
And that's the joy of
Yeah.
existing as a
Yeah.
human being. But to be vague to vague people, right?
Yeah.
Like to be to not have a good sense of who I am to everybody. I think that's where the confusion starts.
Very true. Which I think this conversation will go on for another 2 hours, but our viewers are not going to like it. But
Yeah.
so yeah, my last question to you, and promise guys, I'm ending with that. What is next for you?
What is next?
In any way, books, content, marketing, whatever it could be. But what is next for you? What are you looking forward to?
So bunch of things, right? So from I think I run a startup in the training and hiring space. We now have a good team and we're starting to scale and everything. So exciting times there.
Yeah.
I think really looking forward to 2026
Yeah.
that we're going to make some difference to people.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely want to write more.
Yeah.
Definitely thinking of. I think now that process will start in a few months. That okay, what next? It's too early. But maybe after a few months, I'll now start thinking, okay, what's the new value that I can bring to the world? But in terms of reading, yeah, I'm just enjoying guilty pleasures and not reading for anybody or what everybody else is reading.
Yeah.
It's just about, like I said, I'm deep into sci-fi now,
Yeah.
right? And I'm into
Yeah.
these chunky 7 book series. So really excited about those things which I for so many years
Yeah.
that I didn't pick up, and now that I get to and sometimes talk about them.
Yeah.
And even if they're very niche and very few people read
Yeah.
them, just so that I can be a small part of that author's journey in which I can bring their voice out to more people.
Yeah.
Super exciting. And also looking forward to meeting more people like you
Yeah.
and stuff that I get to talk to, and that's always a privilege. So yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to.
Thank you so much. And yeah, I think with this, I should close the episode.
Thank you so much.
But thank you so much for taking out the time. Thank you so
Lovely.
much for coming. And I think this is a good, fun conversation that I had in a long while, where I'm not just asking questions, but I'm actually making a conversation. I think that's been great for me also. So thank you so much for that. And I
Thank you
wish
so
you
much for having me.
all the very best
Thank
in
you
your
so
journey as an author, in your journey as a creator, with your startup, and everywhere. I'm sure you're making a difference. And I'm sure, I pray, I hope that it continues making difference to the right people for a very long while.
Thank you
So,
so much. Padma.
wishing you all the best, and thank you so much for being part of the next show today, and good luck with the Who the FIU. I hope a lot of people try and figure out, guys, check out the book. You need answers to the simple question of who the F are you, and I hope you are able to find your answers to that, and see you back with another episode. The next show by Nagma